Now, if this question alone, it does not make you think twice, then I have to say that you are also part of the problem. How do you trust the ad hoc committee to fight corruption when the committee itself is made up with political parties that have their own corruption shadows? My name is Alokwan, and these are the news that matter the most. Now, what South Africans are watching is not just an investigation into allegations. South Africans are watching a political system examining itself and hoping that South Africans won't take notice of the contradictions. Now, corruption is not just something that happens in South Africa. Now, corruption is something that has been managed, been negotiated, been tolerated, and absorbed into governance. I found myself asking this question: can a system that has lived with corruption for decades suddenly become morally neutral? Now, let's look at ANC for an example. The African National Congress. At national level, the ANC presided over an era where corruption stopped being exceptional and became systematic. Now, state capture didn't succeed because of one man. It succeeded because institutions were weakened, redeployed, and politically protected. At municipal level, this pattern repeats. Cities collapsing under debt, infrastructure failure linked to procurement abuse, councils dissolved, administrators appointed, then corruption resurfaces. From Johannesburg to eThekwini, from Mangaung to Nelson Mandela Bay, the ANC's municipal record is not one of isolated scandals. It is one of chronic governance failure, repeatedly linked to allegations of corruption, maladministration, and political interference. So when members of parliament from the ANC interrogate corruption, they are not outsiders looking in, they are participants in the system that is being questioned. And even the Democratic Alliance, known as the DA, where power lies contracts, where we govern, things work. That's what the DA makes people believe. And sometimes things do work until they don't. Now, at municipal level, DA-run cities like Cape Town have faced serious allegations involving senior officials and MMCs. Investigations and arrests linked to housing and tender processes. Internal power struggles where accountability becomes selective. Now, the DA often responds faster than the ANC. Suspensions, statements, distancing, but the deeper question remains: is corruption rejected or merely managed better? Moral language without moral consequences. That's where the economic freedom fighters, also known as the EFF, fit in. Now, no political party speaks about corruption with more fury. No party uses moral language more aggressively. Yet both national and municipal level, the EFF's record is complicated by links to the VBS Mutual Bank scandal, court battles involving senior figures, and municipal coalition politics where instability becomes leverage. Now, the EFF exposes corruption, but rarely allows exposure to turn inward. And that contradiction matters. The economic freedom fighters are quickly to point when the allegations are not within. But when their president is dealing with allegations, then they expect the South Africans to understand that it is nothing proven, it is just allegations. Same as Umkhonto weSizwe, a political party born from conflict with constitutional institutions, courts, and accountability mechanism. And its leadership, you can't separate it from unresolved legal controversies, defiance of judicial authority, and an era deeply associated, fairly or unfairly, with state capture narrative. Now, at municipal level, the MK party has not demonstrated a record of governance reform. Its power is symbolic and not institutional. And municipalities are where corruption becomes visible. Inflated tenders, broken service delivery, officials suspended, reinstated, redeployed, and councils collapsing while politicians blame each other. And across South Africa, every major party has governed a municipality where corruption allegations followed power. Different logos, same patterns. And today, platforms like Ad Hoc exist because of bad systems. And those systems were introduced by politicians. Now, a system where parties protect their own, accountability is fictional, and justice gets delayed until it expires. So when politicians form committees to investigate corruption, they are asking the public to believe that power can audit itself honestly. And the reason the Mkhwanazi allegations shook Parliament is not because of the details, but it's because of their implications. These allegations made by Mkhwanazi suggest that corruption is not accidental. It is embedded, cross-party, and protected by process. And when that possibility enters the room, the instinct is not clarity, it is control. Now, I personally don't distrust this committee because I feel they hate accountability. I distrust this committee because I recognize a familiar pattern, a system investigating itself, promising reform while resisting consequences. And there you have it. This was just my view with the Ad Hoc committee. What are your thoughts?